Don't go on your next hunt without knowing why you might miss. Get your free copy of Shot Placement 101 today. Details at closingthedistance.com.
Welcome to this week's Closing the Distance. Hi, I'm Matt Moore. A little different episode today. We are going to show you some hunts, but the main topic today is we're going to discuss the aging hunter. We have tips and information about how to enjoy the outdoors more as we get older. Let's get started.
Closing the Distance is brought to you by Ozonics, undetectable, undeniable. Hunter Safety System, dedicated to saving hunters' lives. Executioner Broadheads, born to kill. Treason, don't just blend, become. And by Citadel, revolutionary shoot-down shape. After the break, tips and information on hunting when there's a lot of candles on your birthday cake. Closing the Distance will be right back. Closing the Distance is made possible by Matthews Solo Cam. Catch us if you can. Tree limb quivers. There's only one tree limb quiver. Sword sights. Sharp solutions in aiming. Elusive Wildlife Technologies. Taking the elusive out of wildlife. The Stage Deer Attractant. Finally, a synthetic scent that works. And by the amazing Luminaut. Can your aeronaut do this?
Welcome back to Closing the Distance. Whether we like it or not, every year we get older. And on today's show, we're going to give you tips and information and some products that will help us enjoy the outdoors more as we age. On this first hunt, we're going to check in with Pro Staffer Chub Clemens. Chub is in his 70s, and this is our 17th year to do Closing the Distance, and even well before that, Chub and I have been hunting together. And Chub is just as much or more active now in the outdoors as he was back 30 years ago. Let's check in with Chub.
Well, it's January the 29th. I got my ozonics set up. The wind's pretty good, but some deer do come from that direction, so I went ahead to be safe, put the ozonics up. Got in the blind here, it's 3:30, and some good bucks seen in this area, so hopefully a shooter will show up this afternoon. I'm gonna continue to get my gear set up. I'm doing a selfie again. That's something with Brother Mark this afternoon to get everything all set up. I'm putting my GoPro up here so it can hopefully record some action. I just shot a huge 8-point. He was a big deer. I thought I had it low on his heart. It looked like the hit was good. The arrow popped out of him pretty quick. I thought I heard him crash out there. I had it right in, I thought right in the pocket behind his front shoulder. Face mask gave me a little bit of trouble getting anchored into where I wanted to be. But folks, there's my blind. I had a pop-up blind set up in some brush. As you can see, the sun is sitting right behind my back. That's always a good advantage because the deer have to look into the sun, and therefore they can't see you in the blind, especially when trying to draw or move. But always good to have that sun to your back if you can possibly set up that way. Heard the deer crash right out here. As Cody says, we're flying solo this afternoon, so let's go see if we can find him. Folks, look at this big old pretty 8-point. Isn't that a beautiful deer? I don't know, he's probably at least 19 on the inside. Long tines. Just an old deer, beautiful deer to shoot here late season in Rockinell Ranch. Mr. Sutton got some great bucks down here. Fortunate enough to get down here, to come down here on a late season hunt and take this deer this afternoon. See, the sun's just starting to go down. Shot him about 5:30. I heard him crash. So I knew he didn't go far. Beautiful buck. I am tickled to death with this deer. Just what I was looking for.
A lot of hunters my age, which I'm 72 now, they seem to lose their drive to want to hunt, or they've killed a lot of deer and they just don't really have the urge to go out there on a cold frosty morning maybe and climb a tree. But I still do. I still have that drive. Some aspects of my hunting career have changed with my age. Now I'm just as happy to hunt with my grandson and have him to shoot a big buck as any deer that I've ever killed in my life. As a matter of fact, probably more so. I get more nervous, more excited trying to help him get a shot at a big deer than I can remember in a long time for me. As you age, your body changes, your physical strength drops off. You usually need to crank your bow down a little bit. We always shoot a little lighter poundage. But other things do increase. Wisdom, knowing when to shoot a deer and when not to, where to put your stand, where not to, when to hunt, when not to hunt. Those things come with age. But eyesight, hearing, all those things tend to go down on you, and you just have to make the best of what you got and enjoy what you got. Sometimes you don't even realize that those things are going until maybe you got a younger cameraman sitting beside you and he hears a deer coming that you don't even hear, or he sees one and you don't see it. Those things happen to you, but I encourage you guys that are my age to don't give up. Just hang in there and keep going. It's the alternative is to quit, and I'm not ready to do that, and you shouldn't be either.
After the break, more aging tips from the staff. Later on, we'll check in with our medical team. Closing the Distance will be right back. Want more from Closing the Distance? Subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Instagram. Closing the Distance is brought to you by Ozonics, undetectable, undeniable. Hunter Safety System, dedicated to saving hunters' lives. Executioner Broadheads, born to kill. Treason, don't just blend, become. And by Citadel, revolutionary shoot-down shape.
Well, what a lot of guys sometimes fail to realize that safety is a real important thing. Particularly as I age, I'm a lot more conscious about making sure that when I do climb a tree that I've got on my hunter safety vest, that I've got a lifeline, that I've got a first aid kit in my fanny pack, that I've got my cell phone, and for sure that I tell somebody where I'm going to be and what time I'm coming home. so that if something does happen to you beyond your control, there's somebody be looking for you. I didn't think about those things when I was younger. The older I get, the more prominent they are in my mind, because things do tend to happen to you when you get a little bit older. But make sure that you consider the safety aspects of it, particularly have that cell phone and have somebody know where you are when you go out there. And it's very important that you pass these things on to the younger generation. You know, I enjoy teaching my grandson about the things that I've learned over the years, not only the hunting and the tips to help him be a better hunter, but how to be a safe hunter.
Chubb mentioned the obvious about our eyesight getting worse as we age. You know, as bow hunters, we can use the Lumnoc to help see that arrow, help see that crossbow bolt as it flies. But also, there's a lot of bow hunters that don't even realize that you can change the diameter size on your sight pins. And these sizes are in thousandths of an inch. And the pro shops refer to them as 29s, 19s, and 10s. And the 29, obviously, is the larger size. And you would want to use this larger size maybe on your first or second pin because it doesn't cover up the kill zone. And the smaller size, this 10 diameter or 10 thousandths of an inch, it would be used on some of your bottom pins because it doesn't cover up the target at longer distances. But in case like Chubb has the larger sight pin. Chubb uses the 29 on all of his, even though Chubb's probably not even going to shoot at a whitetail even past 25 or 30 yards, but he still practices at longer distances. But he just cannot see that smaller diameter fiber optic. If you want these multiple different diameters on your sight, a lot of times you have to go to your pro shop and have them set it up that way, or you can go online to Sword Sights and look at sights online, and you can call them and they will design a sight or design the sight pin set up just like you like them. Try these different sight pin sizes out. I guarantee you it'll help you.
Coming up, tips on how to feel younger and have more energy. And we'll learn more about outdoor-related injuries. We'll be right back. Get a head start on your next trophy buck. Order stand placement advanced techniques today at Closing the Distance. Closing the Distance is made possible by Matthew Solo Cam, Catch Us If You Can, Tree Limb Quivers. There's only one tree limb quiver. Sword Sights, Sharp Solutions in Aiming. Elusive Wildlife Technologies, taking the elusive out of wildlife. The Stage Deer Attractant, finally, a synthetic scent that works. And by the amazing Lumnoc. Can your arrow not do this?
Today's show, tips and information and products that will help us in the field as we get older. You know, as we get older, our energy level decreases. We just don't have that stamina and the strength to do those all-day hunts, to chase the mule deer and the elk on the mountains, the energy that it takes to plant food plots all day, to hang stands all day. Our energy level just isn't there like it used to be. Let's check in with Tad Titlow for some tips and information about how to get our energy level back up.
So what I'm here today to talk about is how that we can better ourselves in regards to keeping our energy level up, just like what Matt was talking about, being able to go out there, scout, hang bow stands, climb the mountains if you're elk hunting or anything like that. So in the medical profession, there are a lot of new medical modalities in order to help those things. You always hear some medical professionals talk about go exercise, eat right, and so forth. Well, at about the age of 30 to 35, just as Matt was saying, we kind of hit this crash to where that our testosterone level starts dropping. That's where that basically our body just doesn't produce enough. And then about 2 to 3 o'clock, you kind of feel this lull, this tiredness and so forth, and you just don't have the energy, or by the time that you get home from work, you don't want to do anything. You just want to crash in your easy chair. Well, now we have a product as far as testosterone replacement, because we know that at about the age of 30 to 35, we start dropping between 1 to 3% of testosterone production per year. Well, by the time that you're 40, you have no energy. So what we basically come up with in the medical society is that there's testosterone replacement, such as I use a product called BowT. BowT is basically a pellet that delivers testosterone to the body the most natural way. It's using more natural products such as soy, yams, and basically it's implanted underneath the skin and it's absorbed over the course of time. What this will help us do over the course of time is alleviate a lot of issues for our health. That's decrease the risk of heart disease, decrease muscle mass loss. Us guys, we have what's called andropause. That's where we have hot flashes. We get moody. We just don't have the stamina that we used to. But now we're able to increase all those things by increasing our testosterone level, which virtually helps all these aspects. Go to BowT website and they'll be able to find a certified BowT provider to help you find this and help better your life as well.
Unfortunately, while we're living this outdoor lifestyle, we will have injuries. We're going to hurt our backs, our shoulders, our knees, as we're planting our food plots or hanging stands or filling feeders, injuries are going to occur. My brother, he's a physical therapist and he's seen every injury. He treats the young and the old, and I guarantee you there's several times a year that I have to call him and tell him something that I've done, and he checks me out and he gets me back on the right path. But as outdoorsmen, we have this type A personality where we do not want to go see a doctor. Let's check in with my brother Chad. He's going to give us some tips about what's that point to where we need to go see a physician.
After acute injury, like Matt has discussed, first thing you want to do, you want to rest that area. You want to elevate it. You want to apply compression and ice for 15 to 20 minutes. If there's no medical contraindications, you can take an over-the-counter anti-inflammatory medication or pain medication. Usually within that time period, 3 to 4 days, you should start seeing some results. However, if those symptoms are staying the same or they're worsening, if you're getting new symptoms, if you say you hurt your neck, you're starting to get pain down into the shoulder, radiating pain, or from your back down towards your leg, new symptoms of numbness or tingling. Also, if there's been a change in your function, if you can't raise that arm like you used to, or turn your neck, or just can't bend over and you're having that pain, or your gait has been affected, just limping on a hurt leg or knee, then I think it's time to get that checked. We don't want to go in. We have other things that we need to do, but I think if you go in and get assessment and treatment for that, the sooner and quicker you're going to get back to what you love to do. One other thing you want to think about is those repeated injuries and things that may happen. You're getting ready for the hunting season, your practice, pulling back your bow, you may get a sharp pain in your shoulder or your elbow. That repeated movement pattern may have set you up for an injury, and be helpful to maybe to see a physical therapist at that point to see what they can do to show you some corrective exercises to help in that area. If you want more information on that, you can visit www.moveforwardpt.com, and just remember, stay healthy, stay fit, and do what you love to do. Close that distance.
On today's show, we're talking about certain things that we can do to help us hunt more effectively and safely as we grow older. And we've seen a couple of our older hunters utilize those things today to hunt successfully. I think about this a lot. I'm 43. I can remember just like it was yesterday, when I first started hunting, when I was just a boy, my dad taking me to the woods. And it reminds us as we grow older, doesn't it? Time flies. I mean, time really is flying. I know that sounds cliche, but it is true. When you get around in your 40s, you really start thinking about that. In fact, the Bible talks a lot about that. It tells us that we should be aware of the fleeting of time. In fact, in one scripture, the Bible talks about our lives. And it basically describes our lives this way. It says that our lives are like the fog that rises over a pond in the morning and then dissipates. Our life is like grass that's green today, withers, and then goes away tomorrow. Now, the Bible's not trying to depress us when it tells us these things. It's not trying to be morbid about, hey, you're going to die and you're going to die soon. What the Bible's trying to really get us to do is to really focus. The Bible's trying to get us to think and remember that this life is not going to last very long, and that we don't need to waste time focusing on things that do not matter. We need to focus our lives on things that really do matter, like a love for our families and a love for God. In fact, nothing is more important than a personal relationship with God, because when this life is over, there is a life beyond this. And what we do in this life with God determines what happens in the next life that we live. I'm so thankful for the promise of the Scriptures and the promise of God, that He promised to never leave us nor forsake us, but be with us all the way, even to the end of the age and the end of our lives. If you'd like to know more about a personal relationship with God through His Son, Jesus Christ, just go to closingthedistance.com and click on the Moment of Truth tab.